Justin went to accompany his first love for an abortion. So I broke up with him. He looked at me in disbelief, rushing to explain. The baby isn't mine. There's nothing between us. I just went to help her sign the consent form. She didn't dare sign it herself. She said she'd feel guilty. I gave him a faint smile. Oh, she's afraid of feeling guilty? And you're not? Rushing to sin, are you? Chapter 01. At the Seaside Resort Hotel, before the door even closed, his kiss landed. Forceful, desperate, breathless. Carolina, I love you. I really, really love you. Justin pulled me onto the bed. Clothes torn and tossed aside. The phone rang. He ignored it, until a particular ringtone began to play. I thought it was his alarm. It wasn't like any of his usual call tones, but his expression changed. Panic flickered across his face as he answered the call. Hello, where are you? Okay, I'll be there right away. Just 3 sentences. And he hung up, his gaze empty, distant. He ruffled my hair gently, hurriedly pulling his shirt back on. Baby, something urgent came up. I have to go. No explanation. Nothing. I grabbed his sleeve, wanting to ask what happened. But he instinctively yanked his arm free. Then, realizing what he'd done, he forced a soft smile, coaxing me. Be good. Don't make a fuss. I really have something urgent. And then he left, without even looking back. But when did I make a fuss? Who did I argue with? Anger swelled in my chest, trapped there. And I couldn't even find the words to speak. Just an hour earlier, he'd proposed to me by the sea, fireworks and balloons lighting up the sky, roses and bonfires surrounding us. He shouted with reckless joy, Carolina, will you marry me? And I'd answered him with the same passion, tears in my eyes. Now, in the silence that followed, I opened my phone's car tracker app. His car was parked in the lot of a maternal and child hospital. My chest tightened. I didn't want to believe the thought that instantly came to mind. Chapter 02. I tossed and turned all night, sleepless, watched the sky shift from pale blue to gold to full daylight. Justin still hadn't come back. Our chat window was all green, message after message. All from me, even when the car's tracker showed it moving again. He still didn't reply once. It wasn't until near noon that my phone finally rang. Hello, are you Mr. Justin's family? He's been in a car accident. My mind went blank. I panicked, rushed to the hospital. When I arrived, a traffic officer was scolding him sternly. You're a grown man. How could you drive while exhausted? You're lucky you hit a barrier. What if you'd hit someone? You'd regret it for life. Justin sat there with a bandaged head, despite my anger. My eyes filled with tears of worry. When the officer left, he squeezed my hand gently and said, I'm fine. I just went to buy those soup dumplings you like. Waited in line forever for them, but they got ruined in the crash. His pitiful look melted every ounce of fury I had. Where were you last night? I asked. My colleague's wife was hemorrhaging. He said, I went to donate blood. You know I have a rare blood type. It was a matter of life and death. I couldn't just stand by and watch 2 lives slip away. The explanation was flawless. I couldn't find a single hole in it. I couldn't even bring myself to ask why he hadn't told me earlier. I already knew what he'd say. He didn't want me to worry. He was afraid I'd be scared. And I believed him. Chapter 03. I thought that incident was over. Justin and I went back to preparing for our wedding, booking the hotel, choosing the dress. The day I met up with my best friend Ava to try on bridesmaid dresses. She seemed distracted, lost in thought. I teased her on purpose. What's wrong? Don't tell me you're jealous, just because I'm getting married. She looked at me, long, quiet, then pulled out her phone and opened her gallery. On the screen was a consent form for an abortion, and on the line for the family member's signature was Justin's name. He had a habit of writing the character Chuan as one continuous stroke. I recognized it instantly. It was his handwriting, without a doubt. The date on the form was the same day he proposed to me. I was at the hospital, Ava said quietly. I thought I saw someone who looked like Justin. When I went to confirm, I found this. They were moving wards, from a standard room to a private one. And the payment, it was from Justin's account. My heart clenched painfully, again and again, as the truth I'd tried so hard to avoid now lay bare before me, leaving me nowhere to hide. Just then, the shop assistant brought over a wedding gown, the one I had custom ordered not long ago. It was handmade by a renowned designer. Expensive, and shipped in from another city. Justin had hesitated at the time, suggesting I just rent one instead, but I had insisted. You only get married once. I don't want to have any regrets. Now that I think about it, how laughable that was. He'd urged me to save every penny with him. Yet for another woman, he could spend freely without hesitation. The scale in his heart had never truly been balanced. Ava's gaze grew complicated. Filled with worry and pity, I ran my fingers along the wedding dress, thinking that if I wore it on our wedding day, perhaps I'd stun him, the way I did when we first met. What a pity. I don't want this wedding anymore. Chapter 04. When I got home, Justin was in the kitchen cooking. The table was covered with all my favorite dishes, a little too deliberate. Like he was trying to please me. You're back? Go wash up. Dinner's ready. I glanced toward the kitchen, and my eyes landed on a familiar insulated lunchbox, washed clean, sitting neatly on the counter. It was the same one I'd bought years ago, when Justin broke his leg and I took care of him. Back then, I would wake up before dawn every day, to go to the market for fresh ingredients, just so I could stew soup, and bring it to him at the hospital before work. When he recovered, we no longer needed that lunchbox, but I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. I'd tucked it away, on the highest shelf of the kitchen cabinet. I hadn't expected him to even remember it existed. Lost in thought, I was pulled back when Justin suddenly took my hand. Baby, where's your ring? I frowned slightly, and pulled my hand back. I took it off when I washed my hands. The truth was, on my drive home, I had taken off that ring in anger, and tossed it into the car. Justin picked out the best rib, and placed it in my bowl. Baby, from now on, we'll never take off our wedding rings. I want the whole world to know I'm yours, and you're mine. A wave of nausea rose in my chest. For a moment, I couldn't tell whether he was saying that out of love or guilt. After dinner, I offered to wash the dishes, but he stopped me. He cleaned up the kitchen efficiently, then went into the bathroom to shower. Once I was sure he was gone, I walked into the kitchen and opened the lunchbox, the one that felt burning hot in my hands. Inside was black chicken soup with Synopsis root. Rich, nourishing, expensive, but there hadn't been any soup. On tonight's dinner table, a chill crept through my limbs. The nausea twisted tighter in my stomach. He had divided his love into portions, and I was not the only one to receive it. Silently, I put the lunchbox back where it had been. Chapter 05. Justin's phone was on the sofa, charging. I had never been the kind of person who checked my partner's phone. He treated me so well that I genuinely believed he would never do anything to betray me. But now, I needed to know who that woman was. The one who could make him abandon me, on the very night he proposed. The lock screen password was my birthday. It opened easily. The call log showed that the most frequent contact was me. He used to save my name as my dearest baby. At some point, it had been changed to just Carolina, and right below that, a strange name caught my eye. Study materials. There was only one call record. On the night of his proposal, the name felt familiar. When we'd first started dating, we once exchanged phones and looked through each other's contacts, telling the stories behind each name, trying to learn if either of us had lingering ties to any exes. Justin's dating history had seemed spotless. I was his third girlfriend. The first had broken up with him cleanly. The second had cheated. He seemed like a victim of love, the model answer boyfriend. I remembered asking him back then, "What's with this contact? Study materials. You've been out of school for years." He'd paused for a moment, then slapped his forehead and laughed. "Oh right, That's an old contact from when I was thinking about applying for grad school. She was an advisor. I just never deleted it. You know, maybe I'll want to go back to studying someday. And I'd believed him. Looking at those 4 words now, I felt nothing but irony. What kind of advisor calls in the middle of the night? I quietly memorized the number. Then, hearing the water stop in the bathroom, I set the phone down. Chapter 06. Justin said he had to work late and told me to go to bed early. But he never showered before work, only after coming home. Who he was meeting tonight. I didn't even need to guess. He'd waited until I went into the bathroom before slipping out, probably afraid I'd see him. Taking that insulated lunchbox, I ordered a car straight to the maternity hospital. At the nurse's station, a young nurse stopped me. Who are you looking for? I didn't know the girl's name. I could only say Justin's. The nurse gave me a strange look. And what's your relation to him? How should I answer that? We're getting married soon? I'm his fiancé? The words wouldn't come. My throat tightened. And instead I heard myself say, I'm his sister. The moment the words left my mouth, my eyes stung with tears. I was the one who was supposed to marry him. So why was I the one sneaking around, like an outsider? The nurse pointed me down the hall, but my legs felt as heavy as lead. It took me several minutes to walk that short corridor. Through the glass window of the ward door, I saw Justin, carefully spooning soup into a woman's mouth, black chicken soup, and when I saw her face, my heart seized painfully. She looked so much like me. The door wasn't closed all the way. Their voices slipped through the crack. Justin, isn't your girlfriend worried about you coming out so late? Justin had his back to me. I already explained it to her. She said she understands. Everyone needs help sometimes. You're still weak, Carolina. What you need most right now is to take care of yourself. The girl smiled sweetly, then cast a sidelong glance in my direction. She saw me. It was a challenge. I didn't go in. There was no need to. I went to the parking lot, found my car, and drove home. For some reason I couldn't explain. I opened the dashcam recordings. After the night of his proposal, Justin had logged out of the car's companion app. I wanted to know how much time he had actually spent with her. But what I found instead was a recording of his conversation with a friend. You're hiding this from Carolina. What if she finds out? She won't. She knows I love her. She knows I'd never betray her. There was a long pause before his friend replied. Still, this isn't right. Even if she's your so-called first love, you're about to marry Carolina. You're not seriously going to give up Carolina for that woman, are you? See, even other people understood what he should do, but Justin didn't. He sighed, his tone a mix of pain and hesitation. I never planned to break up with Carolina. She's beautiful. From a good family. I couldn't find anyone better even if I tried. But since I'm getting married soon, I just don't want to have any regrets. While I'm still technically free, I might as well fulfill that old obsession. Chapter 07. No one ever told me that love for someone could turn into a blade and stab straight into my own heart. Justin was the one holding that blade when I was overjoyed, ready to marry him. He was standing there, fearless, greedy, wanting both worlds. In the study, rows of framed photos lined the shelves. Justin's graduation pictures, from primary school all the way to college. I looked through them carefully, one by one, until I found her. In his high school graduation photo, a ponytail, a white dress, dimples showing when she smiled, exactly how I'd dressed. The first time I met Justin, their positions in the photo were far apart. Yet Justin wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at her. On the back of the photo, next to the matching number, was her name, Diana. The cabinet beneath those photos was filled with the Lego sets Justin and I had built together over the years. I let out a cold laugh and smashed the entire wall of figures to pieces. Plastic fragments scattered everywhere. Just like my feelings for him, broken beyond repair. Looking back now, I think even from the very first meeting, he'd been looking through me. at someone else. I sat alone in the living room all night, without turning on the lights. At 6 in the morning, Justin called. The phone rang once, then disconnected. He must have realized I'd driven the car home. At 7:30, he came back carrying a box of steaming soup dumplings. "Carolina, you're up so early." His tone was nervous, apologetic, almost servile. I placed two things on the coffee table: the printed photo of the abortion consent form and the engagement ring. "Justin, we're over. I have a cleanliness problem in my heart and in my life. I can't keep anything dirty." Chapter 08. The soup dumplings in Justin's hand slipped from his grasp and hit the floor with a splat. Broth splashed everywhere. "Carolina, why? Weren't we about to get married?" I picked up the printed abortion consent form and threw it at his feet. The paper soaked up the spilled soup. He stared at it, stunned. Without picking it up, his pupils trembled slightly. "Carolina, let me explain. It's not what you think. The baby isn't mine. I was just there to help her sign the papers. She said the pregnancy was too far along, the doctor required a family member to be present, and she was too nervous to sign on her own. She said she'd feel guilty." I let out a low, sharp laugh and looked at him. "Does it even matter whether the child is yours? Didn't you once tell some girlfriend of yours that everyone needs help sometimes, and she could understand?" "Well, I can't." "She's afraid of feeling guilty, aren't you? You're the one running to commit a sin. Justin, you have one day to move out of my house. If you don't, I'll find someone to move you out." The house we lived in was a premarital gift from my father. Justin's family background was average. The apartment he bought was in the suburbs, so we'd always lived in my place. But starting today, I was going to clear him out of my life completely. After everything broke down, I slammed the door and left. Justin followed me all the way to the underground garage, still shouting explanations. "Carolina, there's nothing between me and her. Can't you believe me? Do you really doubt my love for you?" I hit the gas and drove off. In the rearview mirror, he stood frozen, small and helpless. After a sleepless night, my chest felt tight and heavy. I drove straight to Ava's place and crashed on her couch to catch up on sleep. When I woke up, it was still early evening. I grabbed Ava and headed to the maternity hospital. If I was kicking the scumbag out, I wasn't going to let the green tea coquette off easy either. With bold makeup and my head held high, I pushed open the ward door. Ava followed behind me, phone in hand, ready to record. In case that woman tried to twist the story later, Diana was sitting up in bed, texting on her phone. When she saw me, she quickly hid it under the blanket. "Who are you? What do you want?" I sat down casually on the stool beside her bed, crossed my legs, and smirked. "You don't know who I am? Stop pretending." Diana narrowed her eyes, then pressed a hand dramatically over her chest. "Carolina, does Justin know you're here? Aren't you afraid he'll be angry?" That actually made me laugh. "You're getting an abortion, not a heart transplant. Why the hell are you clutching your chest? A moment ago you didn't even know who I was. And now you're invoking Justin's name already? I've truly never met a woman as shameless as you. You're pregnant. And instead of finding the baby's father, you dragged another woman's fiancé to sign your abortion consent form. Are you so desperate to play the mistress? Or just afraid no one else will want you? So you're rushing to find a man to take over?" Diana's face flushed red with fury. "Justin and I are innocent. Don't slander me. He's a good man. He was just taking pity on me, helping me out." "Carolina, you're just jealous. Afraid that Justin might leave you for me. That's why you're saying all this." Chapter 09. Her words were full of sarcasm, subtle but sharp, as if I were the one being unreasonable. I stood up, looking down at her from above. "I came here to tell you this. I wouldn't take a man like Justin, even if he threw himself at me. Stop doing filthy things behind my back, just to disgust me. I don't indulge women like you, and I won't be giving Justin any face either." The words had barely left my mouth when the door was suddenly pushed open. Justin rushed in, out of breath, hair disheveled. Clearly, He'd run here in a panic. Diana instantly changed expression. She pressed her lips together. Playing the tragic heroine, sad yet strong, I rolled my eyes. If she wanted to act, she could go right ahead. I wasn't staying for the performance. I brushed past Justin's shoulder and strode toward the door. He grabbed my wrist sharply. Carolina. Diana just had surgery. You and I need to talk. I gave a cold, mocking laugh. Talk about what? Between the two of you, there's nothing left worth my time. Mr. Justin. Since you arrived so quickly, I assume you've finished packing your things. You can keep the house key. I'll be changing the locks anyway. I yanked my wrist free, and, right in front of him, pulled out an alcohol wipe and scrubbed the spot where he'd touched me. The flicker of pain and insecurity on his face was almost satisfying. Pathetic. Really. Then Diana, for some reason, suddenly started crying. Eyes red and trembling. Justin, go home with Carolina. I may be weak, but I can take care of myself. You two are getting married soon. Don't fight over something so small. Let's not contact each other anymore. Justin immediately turned to her, panicked. Diana, what are you talking about? You're in no condition to be alone. How could I just leave you here? Ava was so furious. She nearly tore into both of them on the spot. What the hell are you two? A pathetic pair of a bitter woman and a lovesick fool. You're made for each other. Please, for everyone's sake, stay together forever and off the market. Diana looked startled, her breathing turning rapid, collapsing weakly back onto the bed, and Justin's face filled with distress again. I grabbed Ava's arm and pulled her away. If I stayed another minute, I might actually throw up. But before we reached the hospital gate, Justin caught up to us. He tried to grab my hand, but one glance from me made him flinch and pull back, so he just stood in front of me, blocking the way. Carolina, can you give me 2 weeks? I'll fix everything. I know you're upset about me helping her, because you still care about me. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come here. Once her recovery period is over, I'll stop taking care of her, okay? Ava and I exchanged a look. Was this man truly this dense, or just hopelessly shameless? Chapter 10. When I got home, I found Justin hadn't packed a single thing. I called a cleaning service and had them come clear out all his stuff. Anything related to him, I didn't even want to touch it. Just then my father called. Sweetheart, how are the wedding preparations going? Anything you need Dad to help with? I slapped my forehead. Of course I'd forgotten to tell them. This wasn't something to discuss over the phone. After I changed the locks, I drove home. When I told my parents the whole story, they were furious, so worked up they practically swallowed a handful of emergency heart pills, itching to storm out and beat Justin up. I stopped my father and hurriedly said, "No need to go that far. Don't get yourself involved. Dad, there is one thing I need your help with. Have the house refurnished, redo it properly, and sell my car." Justin drove it. I don't want it anymore. Dad nodded and asked, should I cancel the hotel reservation tomorrow as well? The wedding venue had originally been chosen by Justin's family, but Dad thought it wasn't upscale enough and had paid extra to upgrade it to something luxurious. If I canceled now, it would be embarrassing for him. Many of the guests were his business associates and he had pulled strings to book the place. I thought for a moment and said, don't cancel the hotel. Don't have a wedding, hold a matchmaking banquet instead. Dad's eyes lit up. He slapped his thigh and said, that's the plan. Chapter 11. I slept soundly at home until the bright morning light filled the room. When I got up, breakfast was already laid out on the table. My parents had gone out early to handle the house and car matters for me. I hadn't even finished eating when my mother called in a panic. Sweetheart, Justin refuses to leave. Your father got into a fight with him. I threw on some clothes and rushed out the door. When I arrived, I saw Justin with a bruise on his face. And beside him stood Diana, looking all distressed and heartbroken. My parents were blocking the doorway, both sides ready for war. As soon as Diana saw me, she snapped angrily, Carolina, your family is too violent. How can you just hit someone like that? We won't let this go. Justin looked at me pitifully. Carolina, don't worry. I'm fine. I won't blame Uncle for it. I gave them both a look of utter disgust. Who cares whether you're fine or not? You're both bad luck first thing in the morning. My father, hearing that, instantly looked pleased. His frown relaxed a little. My father's secretary stood awkwardly to the side. I pulled him aside and had him explain what happened. I got the full picture. Justin had hired a locksmith to pry the door open. My father caught him in the act and punched him right away. Then Dad started cursing him out, while Justin kept repeating that I would forgive him soon, which only made my dad angrier. I took a deep breath. God, Justin's persistence was exhausting. Dad, forget about redecorating the house. Just sell it. Justin looked shocked and tried to speak, but I was already on the phone with the police. Hello. I want to report a crime. Someone tried to break into my home. Diana gasped in outrage. How dare you twist things around? You were the ones who attacked him. Justin came early this morning to make you breakfast. You're really mistaking kindness for evil. Their joint act of self-delusion was truly something to behold. I honestly couldn't understand how Justin convinced himself I'd ever forgive him, but that was fine if he couldn't figure it out himself. The police could help him think it through. The officers arrived quickly, and we all went down to the station. On the way there, I messaged the property management office to request the security footage. Diana, tearfully dramatic, kept telling the police how my father had attacked Justin without reason, and how I'd maliciously reported them first. We're the ones who should have called the police. Justin sat with his head down, silent. I opened the security footage and handed my phone to the officer. Officer, my father saw someone trying to pick the lock and stopped him. That counts as self-defense, right? Reasonable and factual. The officer frowned, turning a disapproving look toward Justin and Diana, and sternly ordered them to explain their illegal behavior. Only then did Justin panic. He hurried to defend himself, saying he was only returning to his own home, that he and I were supposed to get married. We're getting married. Hearing those words from Justin's mouth was almost laughable. The night he abandoned me during his proposal to go accompany Diana, did he remember then that we were supposed to get married? When he was cooking soup for her and taking care of her during her recovery, did he remember then that we were supposed to get married? I quickly cut off his pathetic plea. He and I broke up long ago. I gave him 1 day to move out and informed him that I'd be changing the locks. Besides, who in their right mind brings another woman into his ex-girlfriend's home? Chapter 12. We spent half a day at the police station. In the end, Justin got a stern lecture and had to write a statement promising never to harass me again. I was in excellent spirits and took my parents out for a feast. Halfway through the meal, my dad reminded me, "You'd better let all the friends you invited to the wedding know it's off." I thought about it. Contacting everyone one by one sounded exhausting, so I simply posted on my moments. Unbound from the scumbag. Wedding cancelled. Welcome, eligible bachelors, to my matchmaking banquet. Attached was the brand new poster for the matchmaking event that my dad's secretary had just made. As soon as I posted it, my WeChat exploded. Likes well over 99 plus. After dinner, we'd barely gotten home when 2 uninvited guests appeared. Justin's parents. The day I broke up with Justin, I had blocked everyone around him, including his parents. Of course, they must have tried calling and, when they couldn't reach me, decided to show up in person. Carolina, what do you mean by this? Why cancel the wedding for no reason and post something like that? If someone hadn't told us, we wouldn't have even known. I was speechless. Apparently Justin hadn't said a word to them. You're barking up the wrong tree. Go find Justin, not me. I didn't want to waste my breath and tried to walk past them, but they blocked my way. You're not going anywhere until you explain yourself. Helplessly, I pulled out my phone and showed them the photo of the abortion consent form. Take a good look. Your son was about to become someone else's baby's father. If you're not afraid of me exposing all his dirty secrets and ruining his reputation, then go ahead and keep pestering me. I crossed my arms, standing my ground. My parents stood behind me, backing me up. Justin's parents exchanged a glance. They knew they were in the wrong and said nothing. Then they abruptly changed the subject. Since the wedding's off, we want back the 20,000 yuan we gave you for the banquet. I frowned, completely lost. What money? What 20,000? The night of the proposal, Justin asked us for 20,000 yuan. Said it was the deposit for the hotel. I couldn't help but laugh. Opening my bank transfer records. Look for yourselves. Did your son ever transfer me that money? My guess? He used it to pay for that woman's abortion and her recovery. Oh, and by the way, the baby wasn't even his. He just volunteered to play the doting daddy. Justin's parents flushed red. Then left in embarrassment, shoving each other out the door. Chapter 13. Justin still refused to disappear, haunting my life like a stubborn ghost. The real estate agent called to tell me there was a buyer who wanted to see the house. I went there cheerfully, only to find that the buyer was Justin. At least this time, he didn't bring Diana along. Well, finished taking care of her postpartum month? She doesn't need you anymore? Justin's face turned black. The agent stood to the side, too nervous to say anything. I figured Justin was just looking for an excuse to see me. So I turned to leave. He spoke up. 3 million, right? I looked him up and down. You have that kind of money? His hand, hanging at his side, clenched into a fist. I can at least afford the down payment. My contempt for him deepened. The down payment alone would be at least 600,000, if he could afford that, yet still went begging his mother for money in my name. How filial of him. Sorry, it's 3 million, cash only. If you're financing it, then it'll be 4 million. His face grew darker. Fine, 4 million, deal. This time, it was my turn to be surprised. Even the agent hadn't expected the price to rise so easily. Barely able to suppress his grin. If Justin really wanted to pay 4 million, I wouldn't be the one to turn money down, right there in front of the agent. We quickly signed the purchase agreement. Justin transferred the down payment to me, 800,000. Exactly. The agent could tell Justin's intentions had nothing to do with real estate. So he made an excuse and left. Now it was just the two of us in the apartment. Carolina, can we talk? There's nothing left for us to talk about. I gathered the documents, called my dad to ask for sweet and sour ribs for dinner, and stood up to leave. Justin kept talking, ignoring my indifference. I never had anything with Diana. I confessed to her in high school, but she rejected me. She got married before finishing college. I only helped her because she was being abused by her husband. After the divorce, she found out she was pregnant. She couldn't go to her ex, so I just tried to help. Carolina, I'll put both our names on this house. I'll pay the mortgage myself. I'll give you everything I have. Please, just give me one more chance. He was almost in tears, but I felt nothing. My tone calm, detached, even cold. Everything you have? Sorry, I'm not interested. Since you insist on bringing this up, let's make it clear today. Justin, in your mind, is cheating only real if you get caught in bed? You claim not to have seen her in years, yet you know every detail of her life. Are you really going to say you don't still have feelings for her? Even if she couldn't go to her ex, couldn't she go to someone else? Does she really only know you in this world? If you didn't have a guilty conscience, why lie and say study materials was your tutor, and keep that contact all these years? If you didn't think you were doing wrong, why hide the fact that you cooked soup for her, and cared for her during her recovery? Justin, you can't have everything both ways. From the night you left me during your proposal, you should have known this day would come. Justin's eyes were bloodshot. Tears the size of pearls hit the floor as his whole body trembled. Is there really no chance at all? I looked him straight in the eye. None, not even a sliver. Chapter 14. A lot of people showed up to the matchmaking banquet. My dad even arranged a live piano performance just for me. I sat at the grand piano in a golden gown with a sweeping train. When the last note fell, the applause was thunderous. Hidden in the corner, Justin downed glass after glass, getting himself drunk. He didn't have an invitation. Normally he wouldn't have been allowed in, but my dad had spotted him sneaking around outside and told the staff to let him in. He wanted Justin to see for himself how dazzling I was, and how completely unworthy he was of me. Throughout the event, I was showered with gifts and flowers. My dad even set up a registration table, like at a wedding, to record who gave what. Near noon, there was a sudden commotion outside the hotel. I turned to ask my dad what was happening, but he waved me off. Ava gave me a knowing look and pulled me aside. Take a look, someone's live streaming it downstairs. I stared wide-eyed at her phone. It turned out that Justin's relatives had shown up, thinking today was still our wedding day. When the hotel staff blocked their way, they started causing a scene, threatening the manager's job and shouting insults. The manager patiently explained that the wedding had been canceled, and that today was Miss Carolina's matchmaking banquet. That's when someone in the crowd started making trouble, pulling out a phone and filming the poster of my event in the lobby. Come take a look, everyone. This woman, she only loves money. Dumped her fiancé and is holding a mass dating event on her own wedding day. Does she think she's a princess or what? Picking suitors like that? Ava didn't waste a single word arguing with them. She went straight to the hotel's main screen in the lobby and played the video from the hospital on full volume, along with screenshots she'd saved from Diana's social media. The baby is gone, but at least he stayed by my side. Photo, the abortion consent form, with Justin's signature clearly visible. The ginseng black chicken soup he made, turns out the right person was by my side all along. Photo, Justin's profile, ladling soup. Our new home, it's really starting to feel like one. Photo, Justin's apartment, with the red double happiness wedding symbol still on the wall. We were both hurt by love, but it's okay. From now on, it's just us. Photo, Justin, beaten and bruised, from the day he tried to break into my house. He looks so pitiful when he's drunk, makes me want to kiss him. Photo, Justin passed out in bed. Timestamp, last night. Ava was fuming beside me, calling them every insult she could think of. Filthy pair, dog couple, perfect match in hell. But I felt no anger anymore, no sadness either. Letting the past trap me would only mean letting him hurt me a second time. Still, I had to admire Ava's spirit, that fiery refusal to let anyone get away with anything. I gave her a big thumbs up. By that evening, Justin and Diana's scandal was all over social media. Curious netizens tore them apart. Soon, someone dug up Diana's glorious past. She'd been a terrible student in high school, always flirting with boys. Young boys couldn't resist her teasing. They'd confess one after another. But when they broke up, she'd claimed she just wanted to stay friends. The story of her being abused by her ex-husband? Fake. The truth? She'd cheated first, and the domestic violence was mutual. Then came the group chats. Someone posted. She asked me to sign for her abortion too, but I ignored her. Replies flooded in. No way, she asked me to. Bro, you're not alone. She hit me up as well. Victims Club assembled, I'm in 2. So in the end, the only fool who actually fell for it was Justin. Chapter 15. A few days later, Diana showed up at my door, looking smug, as if she'd come to declare victory. Carolina, even if Justin still has feelings for you, so what? He's marrying me now. In the end, I'm the one who wins. I rolled my eyes, honestly. Was she mentally unwell? Who's competing with you? If you enjoy picking up garbage, be my guest. I sincerely wish you two all the happiness in the world. May you grow old together. Her face flushed red, then pale, back and forth. Stop being sarcastic. I know you're jealous but too proud to admit it. You just like to act all high and mighty. I came here to tell you, Justin and I are officially together now. If you ever call him or meet him again, you'll be the mistress. I couldn't help but laugh. It was the first time I'd ever seen a mistress accuse an ex-girlfriend of being the mistress. Oh, so you do realize your behavior was that of a mistress? Didn't someone once claim to be pure and innocent? Ha, what a joke. She choked on her words, speechless, while I continued calmly. Do you know Justin bought my apartment for $4 million? The down payment was $800,000. Guess where he got it? Maybe he mortgaged that suburban house of his. Tisk. TSK, you really have a talent for picking losers. Oh right, that house he mortgaged? It's considered premarital property. You don't get a share. I've never lost an argument in my life. For someone with that little brain power, Diana sure had some nerve showing up to provoke me. Her chest heaved with anger as she stood frozen on the spot. I turned around and walked away, unbothered and elegant. Chapter 16. After working at my father's company for a while, I ended up interviewing someone I never expected. The real estate agent who had helped me sell my apartment. Back then, she'd insisted on charging her commission, based only on the original $3 million sale price. She refused to take a cent from the extra million. That extra money wasn't because of my ability. She'd said, I don't deserve to earn it. So when she later applied for a position, and all her qualifications checked out, I hired her without hesitation. On her very first day, she insisted on taking me out to dinner to thank me. I agreed to go. Halfway through the meal, she suddenly leaned closer, eyes bright with gossip. Sis, do you have any idea how messy the life of the guy who bought your apartment has become? Justin's wife demanded that her name be added to the property title, or she wouldn't marry him. Justin didn't even care. He said if she didn't want to marry, then forget it. He never really wanted to anyway. It was his parents who begged her not to make a scene, telling her to think about the baby she was carrying. So, in the end, they added her name to the deed, but right after they got their marriage certificate and went for the mandatory premarital checkup, they found out she wasn't pregnant at all, and worse, that after so many abortions, she'd never be able to have children again. The family was furious. They wanted to sue her for fraud. But that woman has no shame whatsoever. She's been living in their house, refusing to leave, insisting that Justin take responsibility for her. I smiled faintly. Indeed, wicked people always end up destroying each other.